Hey Facebook, happy 4th of July. Hope you're all out enjoying some nice weather and taking some time off with your families and getting outside and enjoying this beautiful greenery that I'm looking outside at my window right now and looking forward to getting out in a little bit later. I wanted to talk a little bit about, as usual, the past week, a few upcoming events, but actually just start off about the 4th of July. I mean, lots of you have family traditions of things that you do. I grew up in rural Ohio, and I was just going through some old photographs of we used to have bike parades where we decorate our bikes with crepe paper and whatever manner of things that we could find. And I found an old picture of one year I decided to be Snoopy, and my father built a huge Snoopy's doghouse around my bike. I don't think I could move very well, but it was fun. Brings back a lot of good memories. We had a pretty homespun set of fireworks in my house growing up. There wasn't a lot of formal fireworks in our area, with my father and my brothers preferring the noisy ones, and my mom and my dog, our German Shepherd Peter, and I preferring the quieter ones with the pretty colors like the Roman candles. And I'm going to put a link on the newsletter that I do tomorrow with some fireworks across the state of Connecticut for you to catch if you happen to be outside of our area. But of course, here in the Northwest Corner, we have an extremely great display at Lime Rock Park every year, and that's tomorrow night, the 5th. And I think there's a rain date for the 6th. But those are really fun. I'm hoping to make it back. I have one small conflict on the way because I'm actually heading to Hartford later today because my son is in yet another baseball tournament. And I'm a little bit conflicted because if his team does well, I might not make it back in time for the fireworks. And if they don't, I'll make it back in time. So I figure it's a win-win either way. But I hope to see a lot of you out there at the fireworks. And I also want to just back up and talk a little bit. I mean, 4th of July honors the Declaration of Independence, which of course was not a self-executing document. And there are many people, first and foremost, are men and women in the military and their spouses and friends and family who made a lot of sacrifices for our values and our security so that we can have picnics and fireworks on the 4th of July. So we are I extend my profound gratitude as always for the veterans out there, current and former, for all that they have done. I have had many in my family, some who made the supreme sacrifice, and they give us a lot of joy today to enable us to gamble outside in the greenery and be together. So looking back over the past week, first of all, July 1st was, a lot of laws went into effect on July 1st, including things like PTSD benefits for our fire and police officers, which was really a huge advance. I will put a link on, as many of you know, I do a newsletter that accompanies this video, generally goes out a day from now. And I will put a link in there to a bunch of other laws that went into effect. Among them, you will see headlines about rest areas that have reopened in other parts of Connecticut, which I think is a good symbol for Connecticut being open for business and being welcoming for tourism, which is certainly an important part of the economy of the Northwest Corner. I had my first town hall on Saturday, not my first town hall, but the first post-session wrap-up town hall in Salisbury on Saturday, and we had a great conversation about a number of things, and I really enjoy those opportunities to engage with everybody about whatever's on your mind, past or present, in terms of legislation or anything that you think you should bring to my attention. So my next one is scheduled for Kent on July 23rd at 7 p.m. at Kent Town Hall, so I hope you can join me for that. I'm also in the process of scheduling some others. And of course, as I've mentioned before, there are a bunch of events that have to do with on particular issues. For example, we're having in Cornwall next Thursday evening, we are at Town Hall at 7 p.m., an event on rural connectivity, which should be really interesting and bringing in expert voices from a variety of perspectives on that. So maybe some of you could join me there. Next week is packed with events on substance abuse, the environment, fire service, rural connectivity, immigration. So let me just draw your attention to a couple of events that you might be interested in. One is there is an opioid addiction roundtable discussion and Narcan training on Monday. That is, I believe, July 8th. In Kent at the First Congregational Church there. Our Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysewicz, Congresswoman Johanna Hayes, Rita Bhargava, And of course, Maria Couton-Skinner from the McCall Foundation in Torrington will all be there for that really important discussion. So I hope some of you can join me there. Let's see. Then also wanted to draw your attention to Friday night, the 12th. A couple of towns. Kent first, they will be holding a Lights for Liberty vigil in Kent at 8:30 p.m. And that is one of a series of events around the country which focus on the treatment of immigrants, in particular the family separation policy that has been in the news again of late. During the campaign, I will say that it was really a galvanizing issue for so many people across the political spectrum who did not feel that this country's treatment of immigrant families was consistent with the values that we consider central to what it means to be an American. And so if you want your voice to be heard on that, please join us in Kent at 8:30. Other towns may be holding rallies earlier in that day, and stay tuned. I'll let you know where other ones might be held. And on a lighter note, sports fans, don't forget to tune into the American women national soccer team as they play in the finals against Netherlands on Sunday. And if you haven't been watching them before, they are amazing. So our family has been utterly gripped and hanging on to one another during those games, and they're really fun, and the women are just so impressive. So tune in to them on Sunday, because maybe we'll all watch communally. As I mentioned before, I do a newsletter, as many of you know, that goes out the next day, so that those of you who aren't on Facebook, which I know is not all of you, can access this video as well as a written newsletter that accompanies it and includes some links to things that I mentioned in the newsletter. A couple of you have reached out to me recently about where you can find old newsletters because they've caught wind from friends that they've discussed things that they're interested in. You can always find those on my website. And of course, sign up to get future newsletters by going to my website and putting your name in there, your email, giving us your email. And I hope you all have a safe and happy weekend, and I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.